Mickey Spagnola with us right now on the Little Caesars Hot and Ready Hotline, our NFL and Cowboys insider. Mick, obviously I got to start with Deflategate. I mean, it's just obviously, right? First off, there is no, and I know you would have to do this because of your affiliation with the team. If this were happening to you, I don't know what the hell you would be trying to write as a story right now with Deflategate kind of taking over the world. But I'm sure you would find an angle. But for guys like us who have no real affiliation with either of these two teams, Deflategate it is. What do you do with have you seen the article written, I think, late last week by Warren Sharp of Sharp Football Analysis? Have you read this?
No, I don't think I saw that.
Okay. I'm just going to give you the nuts and bolts of this. I'm going to give you just facts, and I just want your overall reaction to it. This is from Warren Sharp. Since 2010, the New England Patriots have fumbled the ball. Just fumbled, not lost, but just fumbled the ball. No, I'm sorry, it is fumbles lost. Have lost a fumble. One time per 187 plays. So since 2010, they have lost a fumble once per 187 plays on average. The league average is teams lose one fumble per 105 plays. And every team is within 21 plays of that average, except for the Patriots, who are at 187. What do you do with that information?
Well, that's pretty good. Obviously, they don't have DeMarco Murray playing for them.
That's right. Or maybe the Cowboys need to start doing a little deflating.
Get the ball a little softer so it'll stick in there a little bit better.
Is that enough of a smoking gun for you at all?
That is a pretty good smoking gun, but again, circumstantial evidence, right?
It's all circumstantial. Yeah.
And that's why I think it's going to be very hard for anybody to prove anything that they've done or haven't done. I think the court of public opinion has already sentenced them, and I don't think whatever Wells and his group finds out is going to change the feelings towards this little incident. So, they may walk away and say, see, we didn't do anything, but I don't think anybody's going to believe them.
What did you make of Bill Belichick on Saturday?
Yeah, that was out of character of him to do something with the media that he didn't have to do. And I think it was probably pretty smart of their PR department to say, okay, let's take a preemptive strike. Let's do this on Saturday, and then we're not answering another question about it. And he remained pretty stubborn about it last night when they got in and did the press conference from Glendale or from their hotel, and he would not, and he was very nice about it, but he didn't answer one more question.
Not Bob Kraft, though. Holy moly.
Bob Kraft went on the offensive, didn't he? Yeah. And I think, and that was all planned out. It's like, okay, Bob, you take the hit for the team. You go out there and you say what, we all want to say, and then no one else is going to answer any questions. And that was pretty strong on his part. So I don't know if that swayed anybody, again, in the court of public opinion, but it was uncharacter-like for him to come out and be so staunch about something.
Before we talk about the Super Bowl, Mickey, I saw a quote from Tony Romo. He was on KESN-FM, which I'm guessing that's ESPN Radio in Dallas.
Yeah, 103.3, yeah.
Right. And he said, I think everybody understands how great these guys are, talking about DeMarco Murray and Dez Bryant and how lucky we are to have them. It kind of said that we have an opportunity, this is Romo talking, we have an opportunity to have sustained success if we can re-sign both those guys, is kind of what he was getting at. I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
Right.
But what are the chances, Mickey, percentage-wise, you think that both those guys are wearing the star next year?
Well, I think it's a 100% chance that Dez Bryant is. I think when we get to DeMarco Murray, 60% maybe. Somewhere in that range. It's just going to come, want to and financial ability under the salary cap is two different things. and making a sensible contract offer to a guy that's going to turn 27 years old. And we know what happens to running backs when they hit that 27-year age and when they get to 30. And so the key thing here is getting a good contract for not a lengthy period of time, but one that you can fit into your salary cap structure, because you don't have unlimited funds. Now, Jerry may have unlimited funds to spend, but the NFL won't allow them to. So, we can go back 20 years and all the bleeding liberals that said, yeah, there should be free agency. These guys should be able to, make what they want, just like anybody else out there in the world. Well, okay, fine. You got that, but you also got a salary cap, and it's not much fun because you can't keep teams together any longer because of that. So, again, how much money will he give up in total package as opposed to getting it in guaranteed money? Meaning, I give you more guaranteed money than you probably deserve, but I'm not giving you a long-term deal where I got to spread out a signing bonus over 5 or 6 years, and then I'm paying for your services after you no longer are a productive player. And that's going to be the argument the Cowboys have to settle with themselves going forward. They can afford to pay him. They can make concessions under that salary cap, but then it's going to cost you something else. You may not be able to re-sign a Nick Hayden. You may not be able to bring back a Rolando McClain. So there's always a give and take here. And as I like to say in free agency, you can't have a steak on every plate.
That's good. I like steak on every plate, and I also like Mickey Spagnola being able to jam into that diatribe right there, a little bleeding liberals.
Yes, I love it.
Yes, bleeding liberals.
Hey, Mickey, DeMarco Murray's about to turn 27, and obviously there's a lot of talk about those two guys around here because Murray's an OU guy, Des Bryant's an OSU guy. One of the other things that we get a lot, Mickey, is OU fans especially that think that if Murray doesn't re-sign with Dallas, that Adrian Peterson ends up there. When someone floats that by you, what do you say?
I say that'll be even more expensive. Now, he may be a different running back, but he's older, and you're going to have to decide, is this guy the blue moon? Is he the exception of all these other running backs that hit the age of 30 and start going downhill from all the carries and all the hits they take? Because you know what? Normally, unless you're running for a lot of touchdowns or out of bounds, every time you carry the ball, you're getting hit, and maybe twice or 3 times. So that's a lot of wear and tear on a body. And again, now you're saying, okay, to be able to afford him, because you're not going to afford him on his current contract and have him count, I think, like $10, $12 million in base salary against the salary cap, when you've got so many other things you have to do, you would have to restructure him, give him upfront money, and spread that over a long period of time if he's going to average $10 million a year. And I just think the days of paying running backs that much money, and I don't care how good they are long gone.
Mickey Spagnola with us on the Little Caesars Hot and Ready Hotline on 107.7 The Franchise. If you were, I'm going to hit you from a couple different angles on the game, both today and when we talk to you again later on in the week. But the angle I'm going to hit you at today is if you were the coach for, if you were Bill Belichick, how would you attack Seattle defensively? And really, my guess is you're going to harken back to the way Dallas did it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because I think they were probably, if not one of the most successful teams moving the football against them. I think you have to keep them. You have to be able to run the ball some. I don't know that you're going to get a lot of running yards against them, but you have to keep them honest against the run. And then the other thing you have to do is they're not a big blitz team, as I remember. So you got to be able to block their front four and do a good job with that. Keep them honest against the run, and then make sure you're just not throwing footballs up to throw footballs. You better know where you're throwing the ball against these guys because you can get yourself in trouble. So I think one of the key things is you have to kind of spread them out. Sometimes you got to go a little sideways against this team, and then take shots down the field. But make sure you're taking smart shots down the field and not just throwing the ball up, because if you're throwing the ball up and it's up for grabs chances are they're coming down with it. So you got to make sure that you got some precise passing going on and be able to run underneath routes. You need a really, really good receiver. And we'll see if New England has that against this team. I think they have good receivers. I don't know if they have just great receivers, but I think their underneath stuff could cause problems. But again, and then the other thing to me is if you can play, if you can score some points, then you're going to force them to play offense, just the way Green Bay did. Green Bay faltered in the last couple minutes, but if you don't go deadhead on special teams, make Russell Wilson have to play offense and not pick and choose when he wants to throw deep, because those passes he threw deep, hey, anybody can do that. You get a guy behind the defender and there's nobody back there, just throw the ball up, no problem. But make him have to throw slants, make him have to throw 17-yard outs, and I think he'll still struggle. But again, to be able to do that, you got to stop Marshawn Lynch. So your offense sometimes is based on how well you're playing defense against this team.
By the way, I want to make sure at some point when we have you on later this week to talk in terms of our Cowboys angle, I want to talk about contingency plan at running back a little bit further. The if DeMarco is gone angle a little bit further. Like if not him, then who? I want to go down at one more path with you. I want somebody, Todd, you, or Mickey, you, or somebody out there in listener land, you, to remind me to ask him about the contingency plan at the back.
And again, you got
position.
Another local angle with Joseph Randle, who's no issue.
That's right. Well, that's what I want to tease that, but that's what I want you to think on, Mickey. Are we you just going to stick with Joseph Randle and throw somebody underneath him, or are you going to put somebody above Joseph Randle if you go into free agency or trade or draft somebody, et cetera, et cetera? But we'll talk about that.
All
right, we'll talk about that next time. See you, buddy.
All right, see you guys.
All right, man.